Hey guys, Devin Gridley, All Father Fitness, and today I have a new playlist that I'm going to be explaining, and it's a diet playlist. So I'm going to be going over as many diets as I possibly can, such as keto, carnivore, vegan, vegetarian, and basically any other diet I can possibly cover. And I'm just going to explain the good, the bad, misconceptions, how they work, why they might not work, things like that. And to kick it off, we're going to start off with keto. And I'm sure people who watch my videos regularly know that I do not like keto. It pushes a lot of my buttons, especially when people who do keto try to explain to me how it's good and they have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm gonna try and cover as much as I possibly can on this subject so people can properly learn and know whether or not they should do this. And I'm just gonna say that you probably shouldn't, but I don't know. I'll explain why. First, let's start off with the good. There's not much good about this diet. The things they got right, you do lose weight really, really fast, which is good, but I'll explain how it doesn't really apply much to this diet in particular as to other diets. And the next thing it does really well is it teaches people that eating protein will keep them satiated, which leads to weight loss. But you don't want to completely cut out a food group just to eat another food group. You can just choose to eat that food group more. But yeah, keto. So bad. Now we're going to the bad. uh, Misconception about keto is that you just cut carbs out, that carbs cause fat, and you cut carbs, you're cutting all the fat out of your body, and you just lose all the fat, and that's not at all what it does, actually. Keto does not help in fat loss at all, unless you're in a calorie deficit. What keto actually is when you go into ketosis, you lose, you cut out carbs, and if people that don't know this, carbs are the main energy source of your body. Now, when they're processed, it becomes glucose and then glycogen. Your body uses this to run. It's your main source of energy. So, just thinking about that, I'm sure a lot of you can come to the conclusion that if you don't have the energy source, the main energy source of your body to run properly, that's obviously not good at all, right? Now, the reason people think this diet is completely magic and they're just shredding fat off and weight and they just see the scale drop super fast is for this reason. When glycogen is stored in the body, it has to link to water. So for one glycogen has to be 3 times water linked to it. So if you lose 1 gram of glycogen, you lose 3 grams of water. So if you lose 1 pound of glycogen, you lose 3 pounds of water. Now, this is obviously not good. You're mostly made up of water. If you lose that much water, you're dehydrated. You have to drink a lot of water all the time, and which isn't a bad thing. Drinking a lot of water all the time is not a bad thing, obviously, but why intentionally make yourself dehydrated, as well as the fact losing your main energy source in your body? Just doesn't make much sense to me, and I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you. Now, that's why they think it's some magical diet, is because in the beginning, when you start just losing glycogen that fast, because you have a store and it's super easy, it starts dropping, but once it gets lower, it'll start to drop slower and slower and slower. So at the very beginning, you drop your glycogen levels crazy fast because your body doesn't know that it needs to be keeping them and saving them. But once you get to a certain point, your body's like, hey, we got to start sparing our glycogen stores so we can use them and run properly. So you see the scale just drop incredibly fast at the beginning of this diet, which is really good. You want the scale to drop, except for the fact that this isn't long term. Once you stop the keto diet, you're going to gain all the weight that you lost back. You'll gain most of it, if not all of it, because your body will realize that, hey, we don't have any carbs coming in, which means we don't have any glycogen in our body, which means we have no energy. So what it's going to do is force you to eat carbs. You're going to binge on the diet or after you're done with the diet, and you're going to binge the crap out of carbs and eat a shit ton to get your stores all the way back up. And then your body's just going to hoard it, basically, and it'll probably have an adverse effect when you stop keto, because your body will be hoarding glycogen instead of using it how it normally uses it. Messing with things like that messes with so many things in your body you don't understand about. Things like hormones and the way your body adapts to certain things. Like when you go to the gym and you train, you'll be really sore. Do the same thing later. Do the same exact thing you did in the gym a month later, you're not going to be as sore. Your body adapts to everything like that, especially things like your diet. So if it realizes it needs to start hoarding glycogen and water, then it's going to start hoarding glycogen in water, and you're going to see the scale jump right back up, which is going to have a crazy effect on your mental status as well as your physical status, because you're going to see the scale keep going up and you're going to lose your mind because you don't know what you're doing wrong. So keto is just a false narrative that it just shreds fat off when it really doesn't, and I'm tired of people hearing people say that it is. It obviously isn't. You don't lose any fat unless you're in a calorie deficit. I'm going to say that every single one of these videos I make on every diet. You don't lose fat unless you're in a calorie deficit. Can you be in keto and in a calorie deficit? Yes. Can you be in a calorie deficit without keto? Yes. You don't need keto to lose weight, and it actually does not help you lose weight. It might just drop the scale a little bit faster, but you know what you could also do instead? Your calorie deficit, you make your calorie deficit go lower. It's crazy how that works. You have a certain amount of calories. The more fat you want to lose, you lower the calories, and that's how much you lose. It's mind-boggling how people don't understand that, and they need to go and search for something that's harder to do, isn't as good, and is just terrible for you. Like, not having your energy source and not having your main energy source and not having water in your body. Two things you need to run: energy and water. You need energy, food, and you need water to survive. And if carbs make your main energy source, why would you take them out? As well as the fact that when you're in keto, you lose a ton of water. It hurts my brain to think that people think that it's healthy and okay for a human body to do. I don't understand the concept behind it. I don't know. Maybe some keto professor dude will find this video and type in the comments something, and maybe I'll learn something, or maybe I'll be right, which it seems like I am. So that's really all I got in this video. It was a very short one. Proving that keto was bad for you was a pretty simple thing. Cutting out a food group, cutting out an entire food group, no matter if it was carbs, protein, or fat, isn't healthy for you. You eat them. If it's you have your macros and you have your micros. You have 3 macros and you have a ton of micros. There's 3 macros. Those things are your bare necessities to survive, and then you have your vitamins, which are the micros. You don't exactly need those to live. They definitely keep you healthy and alive longer and things like that, but you literally need those 3 other things to live and be as healthy as you possibly can. So cutting out an entire food group, especially one as big as carbs, because you eat that, and you eat more carbs than you eat anything else, anything that you're in a calorie deficit or not. Just cutting that out just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you now that I've explained that you need carbs to literally survive. You can't do this diet long term, and you want a diet you can do long term. That's easy to do. Calorie deficit does that for you. It's not hard to go into calorie deficit. You can make it as small or as large as you possibly want. It's completely customizable to whatever you want, how you want to do it. If you want to do it slow or super fast, if you want to keep muscle, or I don't know why you want to lose muscle, but it's an option, or just maintain the muscle, it's always an option to do. But this keto diet is just not good for you. I'm really tired of seeing it explode on the internet. Trainers and coaches and just everyone just make their trainees do it, or give them false narratives or misconceptions, and it's not working out how it should. Maybe it does in the beginning. Keep this diet long term. You'll binge, which will be crazy for you. That'll suck really bad. Binging and failing on something is not something you want to do, especially when it's something like a diet or working out, because it just feels way crappier than it does on like most things. So I'm just kind of tired of people doing that. Hopefully it changes and people realize, hey, you don't need some stupid diets to do anything properly. You could just have a balanced diet, because it's a balanced diet and it has everything you need. That's why it's called a balanced diet. And then you just have a calorie deficit to lose fat. It's pretty crazy how that works. I don't know why people can't understand that. I don't know why people, especially trainers, do that, because people would get better progress. They'd be happier, healthier, and they just make more progress, which would increase their clientele, because they'd realize, hey, this guy's was like this and now he's like this and he's super happy and he looks better and all this crazy stuff. But But no, that's somehow not an option. Instead, they want to give you the keto diet or the vegetarian diet or vegan or some other stupid diet that just doesn't work. And newsflash, all these videos, none of the diets work how that you want them to work. If you want to lose fat, none of these diets are made for that. I'm just going to give that to you now. But that's really all I got for this video. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.